Hello and welcome to today's session on using Teams in education. A quick guide on how to use Teams and the assignments section within there. So we've shown you in previous videos how to use the Teams call-in and the Teams live functionality. They're also on our YouTube, but we're going to specifically set on using the actual Teams element of Teams. When you log in to your Teams profile, and we're using the app on the desktop, on the left hand side you want to use the Teams buttons, team button to go to the view of all the teams that are available to you. You should, depending on your school, have all your class teams already set up, but you can create others, so I'll quickly show you how to do that. In the top right, click on Join or Create Team, then click Create Team, and then make sure that for a class you choose the class option, and this is really important as it enables specific features that you'll need to use assignments and projects and such forth. So the first things we do is we create our team's name, click Next, then we can add students and teachers. Now if you're lucky enough for your setup to already have groups with all the students in it for your class, you can add them in one go. So for example, you could put class and then choose a class group here, or you can add individual students. You can also add teachers in this column here. You're already added yourself, and you can add people later on as well to the team. So this is the Teams view. You can see straight away here the setup that you've got. On the left hand side you've got your channels and your settings. On the right hand side you've got the main message area and the tabs along the top. I'm going to show you first about setting some options on the team that you should set pretty quickly after setting it up. Next to the name of the team, look for the three dots for the more options and go down to Manage Team. From here you can add additional users into the team, so you can add additional guests or students into there and owners. Teachers should be owners within the team. You can also approve any requests when people will ask if they can join your team if it's a private team. And you can also set up your channels. Now channels appear on the left hand side. You may wish to set up some channels for maybe additional subjects if you've got the one class, or it could be particular topics or areas of discussion. To do so, click on Add Channel, type in the name, and you can choose down the bottom here where it says Privacy to have only specific users or anybody using it. Click Add, and you'll see on the left hand side of the screen the additional tab has been added. So on this channel here I can add some files and upload these into the Files tab, and I can also have a class notebook just for this channel, or I can click on Add a tab and add in some resources that I want students to access regularly. For example, it may be a website that I need them to regularly check. Maybe I've got an online subscription for elsewhere, I can build that into it. Maybe that I'd like them to complete a form at the end of any discussions that have been happening, or maybe reference a PowerPoint. I can choose one of these and my users would be able to see that nice and quickly. For example, now I'm going to add a YouTube video, and from within here I can search for my YouTube video by adding in the URL, click Save, and you'll see this will appear up the top as a tab for people to watch whenever they're in there. So it might be that I've recorded a lesson and I want this channel to be around a lesson, and they can watch the video and complete everything that they need to on there. If I head onto the tab Conversation, I can see that they can discuss this particular element right within this window here as well. If we go back to the general team, we will be able to see, if we go back to the test team and go to back to the manage team for it, we was on the channels tab and we can see our channels there. If we head over to the settings, we can then choose lots of important information within the team. For example, permissions, including if they're allowed to add additional channels or delete their own messages, if they can mention each other. Lots of important things to go through here when it comes to setting up your team. If you click on analytics, this will look better obviously after people have used it, but you can look in here at key stats about what people are using and doing within your team. So if we head back to the main general tab, which everybody will see, we'll see a few additional tabs up here. Now I'm not going to go into Class Notebook, there's lots of resources on it online and I'll probably do another video about it in the future. But it's a really useful tool. But if you're getting started, I recommend that you hang around and use the Files, Assignments and Grades tab. Effectively, within Teams, you can create, set, collect, mark and feedback work to students, all within the one panel. It's also a massive benefit for students who simply have to just open up one program on their computer or one app on their tablet or phone, and because it's available on so many different devices, it's really accessible for everybody. If we click on Files, we can see here a storage area that we've got for our classes, and in particular the class materials folder. Within the class materials folder, anything that you upload here can be edited by teachers and viewed by students. And we can upload entire files or folders, and we can also click new and create folders and Word documents, Excel documents right within here. That's available to all the students, so it's a really useful place to put it. As I say, if it's in the class materials, it's read only to them. So in terms of setting work, we're going to use the Assignments tab. When you click on the Assignments tab, if you haven't created one before, you'll have this view here. So let's get started and click Create. Now you've got two options on a type of assignment that you would like to create. Now an assignment is like setting homework or a task for students to complete. You'll have overview of who has completed that task. They'll be able to hand it in and you'll be able to mark it. The different options that you've got here, quiz and assignment. Quiz means that you can use a Microsoft form. Now you may have already created one before. You can use that from the list to create your and place as your assignment for the students, or up here you can click on the new quiz and create a new one within the window. This will allow you to create homework that they can complete, and you can even get it to automatically mark it for you and feed that into the assignments. For now, we're going to create an assignment. An assignment's any task, whether that includes an attachment or a document for them to do. You complete this window here. So the title of the work, the instructions, and you can add resources. We click to add resources, brings up this window, which allows me to go via my OneDrive, link to a website, or to a new file that I can create. I can also down the bottom upload from this device, from my computer, into the document. So I attach my document, and by default students cannot edit it, but using the three dots on the right, I can set it so students edit their own copy of this document, or set it so they can't edit it at all. If you do students edit their own copy, it will save a version for that student that they can work on, and then they can then submit back to you. I've got the ability to add points and to add a rubric. A rubric is like a success criteria for the work. If we click on new, you can create your own by entering the title and description. You can then add in the marking criteria along the top there as well. If you've used one before, you can select that one and simply apply it and attach it to this screen. So I can assign this to different teams if I want to, and I can choose to add it to all students or specific students, and just add in additional students if I want to on using this area here. So I can differentiate my work and give it to different people. Set a due date and a time due, and I can also down the bottom here choose if it's if I post the assignment into the general channel, or I can choose to put it into another channel. So I might choose to create a channel, for example, homework or work, and I can put all the announcements about work into that channel. When I've completed that, I can click on the assign button, and this then means that my document is assigned. And if I go into the general tab, I'll see it's posted that in there for all my students to see, and they'll be able to click on to view the assignment. They'll have a slightly different view of students, of course, but as a teacher I can see here, and when people return the work, I'll be able to have a look at who's completed it and have the attachments, and I can also then give grades on it as well. So if we switch into a team where I've got some students already set up, and we go into assignments for this team, and I can see that all of mine have been returned, a very topical one, and I can see who's returned it, and I can give feedback or view the feedback for that particular work and check that it was opened up in time. If I go through to my grades, I can see here that it's been returned, and I can open the student work. In this case, it opens up a quiz. It would also open up if it's a Word document and allow me to mark it live on the screen. So I can give feedback automatically to any assignments that I've completed. Just seeing if I've got, going to assignments, I'm just going to go and see one that I've got in here. So if I click on one with some work already done, see my returned items here, click on the item, and if there was work attached, I'd be able to complete the feedback next to it on the screen, and that would allow the student to see that particular version. If I click on the history, I can see the whole series of events on this view of when the information was handed in, and I can scroll in between different users using the forward and back arrows. So the students get to see the work when it's returned, they get to see any feedback that they've been given, and you can quickly see the feedback that you've given as well. And you can also, and students can also use the assignments button on the left hand side to view ones that have been assigned, already returned, and be able to jump quickly in and out of that piece of work. We can go back into our team, and we've got the same links at the top for the assignments and the grades up the top as well. So this has been a quick overview of using teams, assignments and grades. Why not dive in and give it a go?